and my assistant that usually comes here, he helps me with these handouts. But I have a handout.
I'll hand things out for you. Sure.
Probably 5 to 7, but 9 to 8 or 9. No, I'm not 5 to 7. There you go. It's number 4. Number 4, how to say it.
Okay. Right here.
There you go, Patrick. Paul, great speech. Sure, yeah, I want to personally give this to Keith. Cesare, here you go. Keith, that was a great speech. All right. Now don't start the timing yet because I want to adjust this microphone. I was having trouble hearing people in this room, but they take a picture. So I'm going to make a little modification. I'm tall. How's that? Now you can hear. Good. Excellent. I don't know if you want to hear, but you're going to hear. Well, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, Jim the Toastmaster, guests. I'm sorry, your name was? Zona. And speakers this evening. I have a hard act to follow there, Paul. The title of my speech is Commencement and Planning Toastmasters, and Planning for Toastmasters. This weekend, we were in Washington, and that was a peak experience because our son, Max, graduated college, and we attended the graduation ceremony. And of course, I missed the annual Spring Toastmasters Saturday conference. And who did attend that?
Kathy and I.
Just okay. So I look forward to hearing from you about, and I actually heard from Kathy about, she sent me an email telling me her notes, her cliff notes, which was very interesting. However, as a Toastmaster member, I'm going to get to the point because that was my last speech, and I tend not to get to the point. But I am going to get to the point. And the point is that I'm here to talk about what I introduced in the business tip, which is planning. And I'm going to pose to you, or I am going to pose to you, how might we plan what we can be doing with Toastmasters? Because I found it very interesting that when Tanya said she's writing a book and how Toastmasters was instrumental in that, and Kathy, you spoke about Toastmasters with your civic organizations, and that. Patrick, I know you've been here for a long time. I'd like to hear how you worked with Toastmasters in your life and how it's influenced you in designing for planning for me in Toastmasters. For me, already planned or unplanned, Toastmasters poses the challenge that I shouldn't be reading these speeches or not using the computers that I brought here, because that's the way I'm used to speaking is with computers, and I just talk about my slides. So this is a particular challenge. I'm not particularly shy, but I'm disorganized. In addition, Toastmasters already has tuned my ear when listening to seasoned public speakers. And this weekend in Washington, I realized how much I had learned just in giving these four speeches. Well, this is 3, and this is my 4th one, how to say it. There was a guest commencement speaker named Dr. Lonnie Bunch, and I have a picture of him. This is Dr. Lonnie Bunch. He is the African-American historian and founder of African-American Cultural Studies at the Smithsonian National Museum. And while I was sitting there listening to him during commencement, I realized that he got to the point, he was organized, he used rhetoric, and he, for example, even his opening was, he began telling about how his daughter said, Daddy, I mean, here's this erudite man. His daughter said, Daddy, why did they ask you to speak? He told her and replied, he said, because I graduated college and I got a job. And that was a segue for the rest of his speech to tell all these new graduates of American University the many lessons for planning their futures, such as think beyond ourselves, or think beyond yourselves. And I was sitting there thinking, what is it? That prompted me to think, why should we be officers of the Toastmaster Club? For example, Jim asked that we become distinguished Toastmasters organization by being memberships in a club. And why did I join 2 clubs? I joined that Back Talk Club as well. Then Dr. Bunch, using rhetoric, went on to say that his grandparents shelled peanuts and picked cotton all their lives with the plan that someday they were doing something that transcended themselves and would offer a transformation for future generations. And I'm sitting there thinking of the chat I had with Keith when we were here the last time after the session, and he said he wished he knew of Toastmasters sooner, perhaps while you were in school, and that the name of Toastmasters doesn't really get out there. For sure, Dr. Lonnie Bunch knew Toastmasters Project Number 4, how to say it, when he came to telling that there are times in life that you can never anticipate a plan. His story, which he said that he didn't talk about much, was one day he was walking home from school as a child, and he was attacked by a white mob with bats, baseball bats. And so Lonnie ran as fast as he could in terror until he could run no more, and he fell down as he was running in a driveway of somebody's house. And just as the mob was about to beat upon him, the door to the house opened and a little girl appeared. And the little girl shouted, "Get off my property!" And she wasn't speaking to Lonnie. And so I'm sitting there saying, God, things happen that you don't plan on. And I'm thinking, in Toastmasters here, how do you plan what we're going to be doing with Toastmasters? And I'm open to hearing from all of you what things have happened and what experiences we can go to from your experiences. Lastly, Dr. Bunch told of his activist friend, Mr. Stubbs, whose plan in life was never to hesitate to picket in the face of attack dogs and fire hoses and mace. But now, Mr. Stubbs was losing his eyesight and his hearing, so he had to modify his plan. And so he asked Dr. Bunch, just point me in the right direction. And as a new Toastmaster member, I ask you, just point me in the right direction. And so, in closing, I would like to say with the planning, I'd like to brainstorm or just come together with some ideas of things that, as Toastmaster members, somebody's fallen asleep here. That's not good. Not good. Oh, well. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the speech, the speech portion of our meeting tonight. And now I'm going to turn the podium over to our topic master for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Leonardson, and she's going to be talking.